Are you ready for the last step of our vintage boardwalk quilt? Hey Kimberbell friends, Kristen Som here, and we are on our last video tutorial for the vintage boardwalk quilt. We're going to do the embellishments today. So we're going to go through each of them step by step, but I do want to point out one thing important. There are several or a few updates on this. So if you look on the Kimberbell.com website and you look through their list of products, there are updates for each of the items, and there's been a few for Boardwalk, and I've pointed them out as we've gone along, but there's more of them in this embellishment part. So I will point each one out. I just want to give you a heads up to be ready for that. So the first one that we're going to do is the food stand dimensional sign. And the things that we're going to need is this light tan with the lines all over it in 4x4. And I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. And then we're also going to use the 2 pieces of gray felt that came in our embellishment kit. This is like different than regular felt. I don't know what they did to this one, but they're very stiff, so interesting. And we're going to put one on the front of our hoop and one underneath our hoop. If you've done a lot of in the hoop projects like finger puppets and different various like bags, some bags do the back of the hoop, but definitely finger puppets and different child things. I do a lot of those for my grandkids, and so putting things under the hoop is second nature to me. So I will point out in the photos as we progress along that what part is going on the front and what part is going on the back, and it's really easy to do. Don't worry, you're just going to tape it in place so it doesn't move. So also from our embellishment kit, we're going to need the black button in your bag of buttons. And we're going to need a couple of the really cute decorative buttons. Those will be so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. All right, and then one other thing is our first update. So in our books, I think some books say different things actually, because some of the product updates that are on the website were already updated in my book. So I don't know if there's like a second printing maybe, but in my book, it says that we're gonna need this cording piece to be 4 inches. And on the website, it says that the update is you want it to be 6.5 inches. So make sure to cut your cording in 6.5 inches. This is gonna be for that dimensional sign that's gonna hold up the sign. So let's go ahead and get started on this first one. And like I said, we're going to go through all of them. I had some people asking about the crabs, so we're going to do that. Don't worry, we're going to do all of them. So we're going to finish strong on this quilt. Are you ready for candy corn? Have you gotten your order yet from Mama Darlings? When you do get your order and you're gonna get ready to join us for Corn Quilt Shoppe, make sure to post in the Kristen Creates Facebook group so that I know who has their orders and who's ready to start so that we can schedule a start date. So we want to get going on that now that Vintage Boardwalk is just about done. You guys have done so great. I can't wait to see them all complete. Hey Kimberbellas, now that we finished our food sign for the food stand, we are going to work on the dimensional crab. So we need 2 of them, and that will take 4 pieces of this pretty red leather, and it's already pre-cut in our embellishment kit, 4 pieces for 2 crabs. And I looked at the directions, it's really easy to make these. So we're going to basically put our outline on our stabilizer and then put 1 piece on the front, 1 piece on the back, and then stitch the outline and the couple of steps for the eyes, so, and the mouth. So we'll need red, white, and black thread for this, and those 4 pieces of red leather, and that's it, and some good scissors, because they look pretty fun to cut. So we'll be trimming them afterward. One thing is that you're supposed to change your bobbin, and I'll make sure and put that in the instructions. I'm not going to do that just because the purpose, I think, is so that if it turns, that the back side looks like the front side, and I'm going to sew mine down. So if you look in the back of the cover, it shows where they're going to go. And you can see it looks like they're just pretty much hanging off of the cord. And I'm actually going to sew mine down a little bit better than that, just because I don't want them to get loose and fall off, or grandkids pulling at them or anything like that. So I'm going to sew mine down a little bit, so I don't care what the back looks like. So I'm not going to change my bobbin. So what is that saying? Do as I say, not as I do. So change your bobbin, do what works for you, but I'm not going to. And like I said, I am going to sew mine down. It looks like it's supposed to just kind of hang from that rope, and I don't feel comfortable with that in my household. I want it sewn down. So other than that, no extra tips on this one. Very easy and no updates. So let's get this one done. One other real quick note is that these are to be done on a 5x7 hoop, and I'm going to use my 6x10 because I merged 2 of them together. Totally optional, do them together, do them separate, doesn't matter at all. But if you're doing 5x7 hoop with 1 crab, mine will look a little different because I've got 2 in 1 hooping in using my 6x10 hoop. So again, do what works for you. Now that we have our cute little crabs, we are going to do the swimming suit ties, and they are very easy, it looks like. Make sure to get your 4 fabrics that match your current bathing suits. And you're going to cut these to 2 by 4.5. And we are going, I think we need 2 of them actually now that, yeah, 2 of each one. Sorry about that. 2 of each one. And we're going to lay it down so that they're right sides together. We'll first put down our placement stitch and then the 2 fabrics right sides together, matching fabrics, like 2 of each one on top. And then and use cutaway stabilizer. And I went ahead and I merged mine together into one hooping. So I'm going to use my 6 by 10 hoop. You can do each of these separately, it doesn't matter. And once we're done, we're just going to cut around them, clip the corners, and tie them in an overhand knot. And we are done. And then we'll just sew them over the swimming suit, like the little tie in the back of your neck. So that's all, 2 of each of the 4 fabrics, and we're going to go ahead and do the swimming suit ties. we're nearing the end of our embellishments. So on this one, we're going to do dimensional towels. We're going to need 2 fabrics that are 4x7, this mint with the bikes on it and the green directional stripes, both in 4x7, and then one more that is the yellow scrolls, and that one's going to be 3.5x3. So these are the towels that we're going to put in that little pocket that we made earlier. So what we're going to do with these is you're going to fold them. It says in our book, so this is one of those updates I told you about. It's on the Kimberbell.com website. You can see all the updates for the quilt, and one of them is this. So it says wrong sides together, but it is actually right sides together. They have that updated on their website. So you're going to take your fabric and put it right sides together and iron that together. And then we are going to quarter inch seam allowance sew top and bottom, leaving the raw edge open, and we're going to turn it inside out and roll it and put it in our pocket. I think that was it. There might have been something else, but I'll show you all in pictures. But bottom line is I wanted to make sure that you remember that it is right sides together, and we are going to sew the top and bottom, and then we're going to roll it out. Oh, we're going to turn it inside out. Did I forget to say that? Turn it inside out, and then we are going to roll it up and put it in our pocket. And I'm going to tack mine down. You can use sewing, like a hand sewing, or you can use glue. I'm going to hand sew just to hold it in place because, like I mentioned, I've got little grandkids that like to come visit and play with all my stuff. So I'm going to make sure that mine's sewn down, and I think that's about it. So after this, then everything else is like sewing on the buttons and the cording and little things like that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too, but we're nearing the end. All right, so we have our food stand done, the dimensional sign for the food stand, the dimensional crabs, the swimming suit ties, the cute little flowers on top of the sandals, and we did the dimensional towels, and we did hand sew a bunch of little buttons all over. So cute. Oh my goodness. So we did the life preservers with the cording and the buttons. That's all done. So the last step now is the little pier. So we're going to use our last 2 pieces of cording, and as I said before, that is 17 inches. So that was an update from the Kimberbell website. In our booklet it says 18 inches, but then you won't have enough. So it is 17 inches and it fits fine. We used it on the life preservers. Now we're going to use it on the pier. So one thing, hold on. Sorry. So one thing is that if you look in the photo in the booklet and on the quilt, it shows like 8 little white buttons, and those aren't in our embellishment kit. So I looked all over for them and thought, oh my gosh, I lost them, but they're not in there. So pull out your stash of buttons And actually, let me say, the buttons, it looks like they're optional, because in the directions it just says to tie 4 knots. So you can just do the 4 knots and be perfectly fine. It'll hold on to, because we're going to sew it, or if you want, you can glue it. I'm going to sew mine. But that'll hold just fine. Or you can do the buttons like what's shown in the picture, and it's just little white buttons and the 2 last pieces of cording, and then golly, we're done. So I am going to add one little thing. I'm going to make a label, and if you've been with me since the beginning of this project, Planet Applique had a freebie of like surf font, I think it was called. I don't remember, but you could just put your name using that font on felt and add that, hand stitch that onto the back of your quilt. That would be super cute. I've decided, I've chosen a design, and I'm going to add my name and date to that, and I'll add information on that if you choose to do that. I saw Susan, I think it was Susan Weege, already did one, and she used the beach bag, which is already part of this design, so that is super cute. You can do whatever, but you've got plenty of options, and that's if you choose to add a label. I'm going to add a label. I figure that this quilt should last generations and generations, and it'll be fun for my grandchildren to be able to see my grandma made this. So anyway, a label, easy to do. You would just add in your name and date or whatever information you want. And then golly, our quilt is done. How exciting. Are you ready for Candy Corn Quilt Shop already? Let's do it.